Hello and welcome to today's webcast with Freemelt, where CEO Daniel Gidlund and CFO Martin Granlund will present the Q4 interim report for 2023. After the presentation, there will be a Q&A, so if you have any questions, you can send them in via the form to the right. And with that said, I hand over the word to you, Daniel.
Thank you. Hi, and welcome to our webcast regarding our interim report for the fourth quarter of 2023. My name is Daniel Gidlund. I'm the CEO for Freemelt, and with us today as well, we have our CFO, Martin Granlund. So what we will do, we will share some highlights and the key areas of interest from Q4. And in the end of the session, we also open up for some questions as well. So let me quickly recap on who Freemelt are, if we have some new people joining today. So the company was founded 2017 by 6 founders with extensive knowledge of the additive manufacturing industry. We are currently around 40 full-time employees, mainly focused on the technical side, but we're moving more to the commercial side as well. The first machine was developed and introduced to the market only 2 years after the company was founded. And this is a research machine. And since then, despite the fact that we had a bit of a bumpy start with the pandemic, we have sold as many as 23 machines globally. We have 15 in Europe and we have 8 in the US. Our ambition, though, is to take a stronger position, actually take a leading position within this specific technology, electron powder bed fusion, which is called, where we currently are number 2. And in our 2030 strategy that we launched last year, we aim to become the number 1, and also then it should generate that we have a turnover of 100 million euros. The industry or the technology that we are in, it's a growing, substantially growing industry. So it's a CAGR of 25% until 2027, and it has been for many years. I think it's also important to highlight that this is a very fragmented industry with just a few common standards and too many maybe closed ecosystems. So Freemelt's DNA, I think it's also important to highlight, it's really true open source. And we believe that collaborations between both peers and customers is important now to bring further value to the end users and therefore accelerate the growth further within AM as well. If we then zoom in on Q4 2023, it was a very intensive, exciting, and also rewarding quarter for Freemelt. So let's zoom in on a few of the highlights. Freemelt has for, I would say, the past 3 years worked closely then with 2 industrial partners to really make sure that the industrial offering that we are developing also then meet the expectations, and especially when it comes to the mass production application. So therefore, it was very pleasing and also rewarding to the team to see that a Fortune 500 company really gained trust in Freemelt's unique technology, which we call eMELT. And this is a customer that will use eMELT for serial production of tungsten components for various applications. So very exciting and a key milestone for the company. The next key event was also then a launch of our 3rd machine since 2019. So again, as I said, we have a lot of focus on technology development. We now have a complete offering, all from material research to application development and mass production. So this was the eMELT ID, which is for application development. So also a critical milestone, and this will launch during Formnext, which is the largest exhibition during November last year. Then, as I mentioned before, if we're going to really make a change in this transformation that the industry is going through, I mean, we can do as much we can ourselves, but we really need to collaborate. And this is also the intention with putting the research machine out first. I think this is a good example with Texas A&M, so a US university that also invest a lot of time and competence in tungsten, but also titanium. So here we have agreed an extended collaboration where we together support Texas A&M to industrialize additive manufacturing for the US industry. Then it's of course also a good receipt, I think, when we start to get repeat orders. So IHI Europe, we actually have had as a customer for quite a few years. They do, it's a Japanese company, global company, and they do a lot of research now within titanium aluminide applications for aerospace engines. And here they have added their second machine to really intensify that research work as well. So also good to see that we can meet the industrial side of research demand as well, and expectation. During Q4, we also intensified, I would say, our market intelligence really to build up a more strategic pipeline also regarding our industrial segments. Now, when we have 2 machines that will be ready for the market now from Q2. So that's something, of course, now that we zoom in on specific then segments that we have a focus on, valid for the materials that we work in within tungsten, within copper, and within titanium. And then last but not least, I think it's also very pleasing to have Victor Falk on board. So as a company, we're trying to move more into the commercial side as well, and to establish an empowered, let's say, operating model where we have a regional sales, service, and application responsibility that is close to the customers and therefore can make the right kind of decisions depending on their respective situation in the region. And Victor has a long experience from the industrial side as well. If I would then deep dive a bit about the breakthrough agreement that we had regarding eMELT. So as I mentioned before, this is it's a large company. It's also a very experienced company in regards to additive manufacturing, which I think is also important for us. It's important that we start to work with companies that really has tried out additive, has set up a production process based on additive as well. And this company is specialized in tungsten, which I would say that Freemelt, we have done extremely good progress during the past couple of years. I would say that we have a leading position in regards to tungsten and the how to print tungsten from productivity, but also from a quality point of view. The main reason for this customer, which is already using additive, is to increase their productivity and to then, of course, optimize the cost per printed part. And at this stage, I mean, we have started this collaboration and engaged of this agreement. And what we are doing as we speak is really now to integrate our eMELT technology into their manufacturing process to really optimize this setup that eMELT can then deliver the maximized value for the client as well. As I said, we had a high activity during Q4, which also has started to pay off already in Q1. So some major events after Q4 also, I think, is important to highlight. I think it's very pleasing also after just launching the eMELT ID during Q4 at Formnext, that we already in Q1 got the trust from an Italian competence center called WeAreAM. We also got an order from one of the most experienced universities in regards to electron beam melting, which is the University of Sheffield. So this is a Freemelt 1. And as I said initially as well, I mean, we we try to really collaborate with all our customers, and as more customers we get on board, and we also trying to emphasize that they should collaborate between themselves. We also then, of course, will identify new kind of opportunities for this kind of technology for the industry. What we also have done during Q1 is also to strengthen our Americas organization on the commercial side. This North America is a key market for us. It's a lot of activities happening there within those key segments that we focus on. And then last but not least, coming back to what I just said about collaboration, we also had our second user forum, so Freemelt One users. So I think this is also quite unique that you collect all different kind of users that you have from different companies, and they openly share their kind of success and progress from an electron powder bed fusion perspective, and Freemelt as well. So also something really unique and highly valuable to take part of. If I should just quickly then zoom in, as I just mentioned, about this eMELT iD customer, we are AM. Important to highlight that the northern part of Italy has been a pioneer for many years in regards to innovative manufacturing. So they were actually, I would say, the forerunners, if you go back maybe 15 years ago, to really start to print in orthopedic implants, for instance, or even in the aerospace engines or turbine blades. So there is a lot of experience when it comes to additive here. And we are AM, their role now in the Italian industry, they will work closely with industrial customers in Italy to really identify new kind of opportunities to be even more innovative how to manufacturing metal parts. And they also do have a lot of experience when it comes to electron powder bed fusion as well, which I think is also extremely helpful for us in this case. And then together we will then engage towards the end users. So we will work with more the application development, and we will then provide the systems that can then mass produce those new applications that has been developed and identified with AM. So with that said, I would like to hand over to you, Martin, and zoom in on the numbers.
Thank you very much. So it's a pleasure for me to deliver my fourth quarterly update and my first year-end results update for Freemelt. I've been here since March of last year. So looking back on the fourth quarter in terms of sales, the black line on the right-hand side, it's more or less flat from the last quarter, slightly down. And as you can see, it's been quite volatile for the last 5 quarters. And this is, as we've talked about in the past, that it's difficult to predict and to plan for when different orders come in, as Freemelt One is most of the time part of a tender process. And tender processes can be quite lengthy and cumbersome and difficult to predict. So it's large deviations between quarters. But sales have recovered since Q2 and onwards. We've seen currency headwinds in this quarter as the Swedish krona has strengthened. We sell our products mainly in euros and US dollars, and most of our costs are in Swedish krona, as we have some costs in foreign currency as well. But net, it's a negative in the quarter. We book these currency gains and currency losses in other operating income and other operating costs. There's also an effect from the revaluation of cash balances in foreign currency that we carry. So looking at the inventory side, the gray bars, inventory has come down. It's down 8% year on year and 16% quarter on quarter. It's about 1.5 million SEK lower value. we still have, this is of course due to deliveries in the quarter, and the inventory is service inventory, but it's also machine inventory where we have the capability to deliver at least a few machines on short notice if the customer wants a fast delivery. We see the green line, which is the order book value. This is orders received but not yet invoiced, so future revenues for the company. It's at an all-time low since we started following this number since Q1 23, and this is because we delivered on most orders up until the end of the year, and there's 1.8 million of non-invoiced orders left. So on the next one, yes, cash flow and operating results. We see a very strong recovery in operating cash flow. That's the black line you see on the right side. We've had positive cash flow in Q1 2023. We've been around 0 Q4 22 and around 0 in Q4 23 as well. So 3 of the last 5 quarters, the operating cash flow has been positive or around 0, which I think is quite an achievement. The drag is, of course, the green line, the investments, which continue to be significant, and we have high pace of investments for Freemelt, which is according to plan, of course. So if you look at the total cash flow, it's basically all investments then, which carries the cash flow into the negative, as we see operating cash flow. If we look at the operating results, sorry, one back, please. The operating results, the gray bars, we want to highlight that there's about 13 million in each quarter of non-cash items. It's goodwill write-downs mainly. So if you deduct those, there's an operating result of about -6 million for the quarter. It was about the same for the third quarter in 2023 as well. And then on the balance sheet side, we have a 94% solidity. That's because we have no external debt on the balance sheet. We raised equity capital in Q1 of 2023, as you can see with the gray bars. So cash at bank was raised to a significantly higher level compared to Q4 2022. And then you see then the investments that the company has had mainly, which is a drag on the cash flow. And we end the year with cash at bank of 34 million krona, which is about 13 million less than what we saw at the end of the third quarter. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Okay, just to wrap up on the Q4 then. So once again, I'm really pleased to see that we start to increase our commercial activities as well. So it was really intensified during Q4. One big part of that was also due to Formnext, this huge trade show where we had the opportunity to meet a lot of customers and of course potential customers as well. And as I mentioned before, we have also now started to work more proactively with market intelligence, mainly for the industrial side as well. The big milestone for this company, of course, was the breakthrough agreement for the industrial side, and then in this case for serial production of tungsten, so the eMELT iM, and that we also during that intense time that we had of finalizing the iM machine during last year. I mean, the team also made a fantastic job to also then finalize the development and launching of the ID machine, so the application development machine, which is highly valuable to our offering. And then that we continue to add commercial resources, and in this case, then Victor Falk as the regional president for EMEA. And then just after Q4, so then I think it's just worthwhile to repeat the great achievement also to get on board our first customer on the ID, so from an application development perspective, with the important Italian market with the client WeAream. So with that said, I open up for questions.
Thank you so much for the presentation here. We got a couple of questions, so I think we jump straight ahead here. During the quarter, you signed a breakthrough agreement with a Fortune 500 technology company. Can you tell us which one, and can you tell a little bit more about the agreement?
Good question, and I'm also very eager to share who the customer are. Unfortunately, at this moment, we are not allowed to share the name of the customer, but we definitely hope that we sooner than later will be able to do it. Just to maybe repeat a bit what I said before, I mean, this is again, it's a Fortune 500 customer. It's an extremely experienced customer when it comes to additive. It's in the area of tungsten, which of course is one of our key focus areas where we have a very good position. So again, the intention of this agreement is really to integrate eMELT for serial production, mass production of tungsten components, to just simplify it.
Thanks. During the quarter, you started a strategic collaboration with WeAream, where you will implement the eMELT ID machine to be installed. Is there a possibility for more installations if it's successful?
Also good question. Yes, I hope so. With that said, I would say that WeAream, they are not setting up for mass production. They will mainly work with application development. Maybe they will also work with product certification and some small scale production. So maybe before the demand of the mass production of the applications development come aboard, they can start to do some sort of low scale production. So, and in that case, definitely we hope and expect that we will see a few more eMELT ID machines into the facility. But again, just to be clear, the Freemelt will sell the IAMs or the mass production machines to the end users in the end. So that's really how the let's say collaboration and the if you call it business model will look like.
What is included in the order book figure of 1.8 million SEK? Is it future lease payments for the leased Freemelt 1?
Maybe Martin, you can answer.
Yes, exactly. So as you might recall, we have an agreement with IHI where they pay over time for one machine that we delivered during the fourth quarter. And this is an agreement which extends over a little bit more than 2 years. And this is the main part of the figure that you see in the 1.8 million.
Thank you. Other external costs were higher due to increased investments in the quarter. Could you elaborate on what portion of the increase is recurring versus temporary?
On the external cost, we have elevated costs. This is due to the investments we do in our products, and especially in eMELT. The costs are activated in the balance sheet, so you also see a positive number on the revenue side. So please be aware of this. So the elevated costs are then neutralized by the elevated income, and it's activated in the balance sheet. And as the eMELT project sort of finalizes, we should see all else equal that costs will come down.
Thank you. Considering the workload required during the initial phase of processing an eMELT order, what is the current capacity like? How many orders can be effectively managed simultaneously?
I think it's also difficult to say like that, because I think it's really depending on where the customer is coming from. But also on the other note, I would say what's important to highlight that we will be a bit, let's say, cautious now when we start to penetrate the market with email, because I think it's extremely important that we start off in a good way and don't, let's say, over-deliver and then under-promise to the customers. So, of course, in the end, we need to make sure that the machines that we put out there in the market, that we can give them the full attention and care, because I think we just need to of course admit and understand it will be a lot of feedback on the first machines as well, and then we need to tend to that in a good way. So I think during 2024 we will let's say we will be able to deliver at least, I would say, let's say between 5 and 10 machines, not more, and that's a careful decision made around that as well. So, but again, coming back to the question, to answer the question, I mean, it's difficult if you have a customer coming from, let's say, a traditional technology, and then they have a process set up for the traditional technology, then it requires a bit more of adjustments to set up the additive process. If you have a customer with laser machines, then you know it's a bit short kind of process. And if it would be a customer that do have electron powder bed fusion technology, then of course it's a shorter process to get in as well. So again, it's really depending on the starting situation there.
Thank you. The order intake for Freemelt 1 in 2023 was lower than the one in 2022. Could you elaborate on the primary reasons for the decline?
Sure. As Martin also alluded to in his section as well, I mean, these are all universities, research institutes. It's quite a long sales cycle. It's public tenders, and therefore it's quite an erratic sales, and it's difficult to really forecast as well. With that said as well, I think we should be honest to highlight that, I mean, we are coming from being a very technology-focused organization, and now we're becoming more and more commercial. So we definitely, as I said, in Q4 has invested much more time and effort to try to establish more of a strategic pipeline as well that we can execute on. So, and I think it's also important to highlight that during last year, we did not lose any, let's say, opportunity. It's just the fact that it's been delayed. So hopefully we see some good improvements during this year when it comes to Freemelt 1.
Thank you. What strategies have been implemented to enhance the order intake in 2024?
I mean, the strategy is, again, maybe I've been repeating myself, but to become more strategic when it comes to pipeline or leads management. So again, we have used market intelligence during Q4. We have also then really trying to build up much more of a pipeline to harvest on now. And then secondly, I mean, we need resources to harvest on this. So of course, it's to invest in commercial resources so we can knock on more doors, and we can also introduce Freemelt as a company to the market. We're still a fairly new and unknown company in some markets, so we need to really market our brand and also educate the market about the benefits with E-PBF as well. So I mean, the strategy really is to intensify the commercial side of the business during this year. And then of course, I mean, coming to volumes, I mean, the big volume business for us will be the industrial business, because if you take the research side, I mean, from Freemelt 1, it's a very transactional business. You sell one machine, and it can take everything from 6 months up to 18 months to get one deal. and then it's pretty much no aftermarket. When it comes to the industrial side, first it's volumes of machines, and then it will also be a recurring business in aftermarket.
Thank you. Are you currently working on any more collaborations?
We definitely, I mean, collaborate a lot with our universities, so our Freemelt One customers. We of course are seeking for the right type of partners as well to collaborate in both various, I would say, segments, but also various geographies as well. So that's definitely something that we are looking into.
Thank you. What sets the eMelt ID apart from the other models in the eMelt family?
eMelt ID. eMelt ID is actually developed based on eMelt IM. So to really simplify, I mean, it's the same core technology, and the main difference is that eMelt ID do have one build chamber, and eMelt IM has 4 build chambers. So eMelt ID is mainly for application development and also call it small scale production. But I would say it's the one build chamber that is pretty much the only difference to eMelt IM.
Thank you. Moving on to the last question here. What milestones should investors look out for in the coming quarters?
Yeah, good question. I think we are turning now into more commercial activities. So again, coming back to what we have really intensified during Q4 to build up this pipeline. So I would say it should be to zoom in and focus on to see some sort of results from the harvest on the pipeline.
Thank you so much for the presentation here today, and thank you for asking all questions, and good luck going forward. And thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.